Hello everyone, welcome to EduTab. I hope you all have been preparing well for your IFSCA Grade A exam. In this series of sessions, we have been covering the MCQs that may appear in the phase 2, paper 2 of this exam. And in this session, we are discussing the topic of GIFT IFSC. Phase 2 paper 2 has certain topics for which you may not find the MCQs often, and so we are helping you out with this. These topics include the IFSCA Act, GIFT City, GIFT IFSC, IFSCA Global Financial Centers. So you will have the preparation, or you will be able to understand which kind of questions may appear in the exam through these sessions that we are conducting here. Okay, I hope you are ready to answer these MCQs. This was the MCQ asked in the previous session. So many have answered this. The question here says, an SEZ unit to establish at the GIFT IFSC has to confirm its acceptance with the terms and conditions of letter of approval to the Development Commissioner of the SEZ within dash days. So there is this process by which a unit in a SEZ, which is for all of our purpose, is the GIFT SEZ. Here, if at all a unit is to be established, because as we know, the GIFT IFSC is within the GIFT SEZ, the Special Economic Zone. So for a unit to be established here, there is a procedure. And as part of that procedure, there is a letter of approval with respect to whatever the conditions that the unit or the entity that wants to establish a unit is required to follow. That letter of approval is given. That letter of approval is given by the Development Commissioner, who is, let's say, the head of approving these units in the SEZ. Okay. The letter of approval is given to this entity who wants to establish the unit there. The entity has to confirm its approval within a certain amount of time. And this is what we have discussed in the previous session. That time is actually 45 days. It is not 10, 25, 20 or 30, the time period within which this approval is to be provided, that yes, I'm okay with the letter of approval that the Development Commissioner has given. That time is 45 days. And after the letter of approval is given, there is this procedure of going for signing the lease agreement. Lease is the payment to be given. Like you pay rent, you pay lease for a certain amount of time, let's say for 10 years, for 20 years. Okay. So that rent that you have paid, that agreement has to be made between the entity and the Development Commissioner or the SEZ. So the agreement, there is also time period for this agreement that the entity has to sign. So that time period is actually 6 months. So after this, after the signing of the lease agreement, the unit can start to do its economic activities within the IFSC. I hope this is clear and this has been answered really well by many. Jack has answered, E45 is the right answer. Devendra, Ravish, thank you. Welcome to you. Devendra is again saying thank you. And in the previous session, Ganesh, Neha, they have answered the questions. Martian has been answering the questions really well. Neetu, Devendra, Sneha, Vishal all have answered them. A warm welcome to you and all the best. Okay, so the correct answer there was E, and you can see the lease agreement has to be signed, and for that the time period given that the lease agreement is signed is 6 months. Okay, within which the entity has to sign the agreement so that the unit is established. Now this question is related to the same. SEZ unit in an IFSC shall be required to submit the copy of the registered lease deed to the Office of Development Commissioner of the SEZ within dash of the receipt of letter of approval. So here the SEZ, within the SEZ, if a unit is to be established, the entity who wants to establish this unit has to approve to the letter of approval that is provided by the Development Commissioner of the SEZ within 45 days. Now, after this is done, the next process is to sign the lease agreement. This lease agreement has to be signed within 6 months. Okay, and then the unit can start its economic activities there, whatever activities it has to conduct legally. So D is the right answer here according to this, and yes, the explanation for the same is given here. You can go through the entire process. We have discussed this in the previous session. Second question is in front of you. A unit set up in GIFT IFSC receives a benefit of tax holiday till dash years out of block of 15 years in respect of income from business carried on in IFSC. So there is a period of certain years within which there is this tax holiday that a specific unit enjoys. The terms are different for different units, but then most of them enjoy this tax holiday for a certain period. For the total of 15 years that they have been established and they have been part of that IFSC, in this 15 years, the total span of 15 years, there are certain number of years that for which the the unit enjoys tax holiday. So what is that number that is being asked? So obviously if the total is 15 years, out of that the number of years cannot be 15 itself. So the tax holiday, the tax benefits that a unit enjoys is for 10 years, okay, out of the entire 15 years. Let's say after second year the unit wants to enjoy these benefits, then it gives a proposal for that, and then for 10 years it enjoys, after the second year for 10 years it enjoys these benefits. So these 10 years are consecutive, but then it is within the span of 15 years that any 10 years consecutively the unit can enjoy the tax benefits, and that is something that is called a tax holiday. So the correct answer here is C. And the tax benefits that are enjoyed are minimum alternate tax here is just 9%, tax on capital on specified securities listed on IFSC exchanges by non-resident or category 3 AIF. So these all terms are given for which the tax is nil. You do not have to pay any tax over that. There are certain other things like security transaction tax, commodity transaction tax. These are also nil for this period. Tax on interest by IFSC units on to whatever units are providing interest, and the services provided to the non-residents. For that also the tax is nil. So these are the benefits, and these are enjoyed for a period of 10 years within a total span of 15 years. Third question is in front of you. The security transaction tax with respect to transactions carried out on IFSC exchanges is dash. Okay, just now we have seen the security transaction tax is actually nil, and so the correct answer here will be A, 0%, right? So all of this we have seen already. Moving on to fourth question, the banks which want to establish IFSC banking units in GIFT IFSC are required to obtain the permission of Reserve Bank of India. Okay, so we have seen that the banking units, the capital market intermediaries and etc. who want to establish units within the IFSC are required to get dual approval. What is this dual approval? The first approval is from the specific regulator that they have to get. Like a banking unit will get it from RBI, a capital intermediary will get it from SEBI. Other than this, the second approval is to be obtained from the development commissioner or the entity in the SEZ or the IFSC unit. Okay, to have a unit established there. So this dual, as part of this dual approval, a banking unit needs to get the approval from RBI, and this approval is to be provided on the basis of, as per the provisions of which among the following enactments, on the basis of which act? That is the question here. Reserve Bank of India, is it Banking Regulation, Credit Information Companies Regulation Act, Government Securities Act, Payment and Settlement Systems Act. Okay, so the approval is given on the basis of which act is asked here. So these two do not seem to have any relation. Credit Information Companies and Government Securities, they do not have any relation with whatever is being talked about. It can be RBI Act, Banking Regulation or Payment and Settlement Act. This is the level till where we can eliminate. And you have gone through the other parts of the syllabus. You definitely must be knowing that Banking Regulation Act is something with which the regulation, all of the rules and regulations are given with respect to regulating these banks. And that is something that is applicable to banking units in IFSCs also. So this approval is given on the basis of the Banking Regulation Act, right? Okay, so B is the right answer. So fifth question is a homework question for you. Minimum capital requirement in foreign currency to be maintained at all times of a parent Indian bank which wants to establish an IFSC banking unit in IFSC. Okay, so let's say there is a parent bank, let's say it is SBI. wants to establish a unit in the IFSC, which is now called IFSC banking unit, obviously because it is within the IFSC. For that, it has to maintain what amount of foreign currency capital, okay, whatever currency has been mandated by the IFSCA, in that currency SBI has to maintain capital so as to be used for the purposes of this unit. What is that amount? The amount has to be given by you. I hope you will be giving the right answer. Is it 5 million, 10, 15 or 20, 25? Whichever you feel is the correct answer, please give that answer in the comment section. Here to help you out with your entire preparation of phase 1 and phase 2, we have come up with this test series wherein we are providing component wise tests of phase 1 paper 1, phase 1 paper 2, phase 2 paper 1 and phase 2 paper 2. You will also be getting the full in test of phase 1 and phase 2 as part of this test series. To avail this test series, you can click on the link given in the description below. You can call us on this number 8146207241 for clarifying any of your doubts with respect to the preparation, or you can drop a mail at hello@edutab.co.in. I hope these sessions are helping you. If they are, please do leave your feedback in the comment section. Your comments are something that keep us motivated. Thank you. All the best.